the opinion is actually qualified. And in the audit terms, when you say qualified opinion, it means there's been a very big challenge in terms of the way Gulu Regional Referral Hospital has been handling its finances. And this is where we are going to start from. I want to refer members to page 5 of this report of the Auditor General on financial statements, page 5. So you will see there that there is a qualified opinion. It's not adverse opinion, but qualified. Qualified is almost adverse opinion. Almost there in the middle. So we want first to ask the accounting officer if he is aware of the implication of this opinion to his accounts. Whether you are aware of it and what implication it has in terms of how you have been able to utilize your finances. Accounting officer.
Yeah, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, yes, I'm aware about the implication, and we shall respond to it as appropriately when you tell us to do so.
So what do you make out of it?
Yeah, during the audit period, Mr. Honorable Chair, indeed some of those gaps were found. But however, over the period, these gaps have been closed, and some of this, almost 90% or 100 is accounted for, except a few issues which we shall discuss in the process of this discussion.
So when did you account for these monies? You accounted for the monies after the audit or before the audit?
Mr. Chair, some of the documents which are missing were actually supposed to have been collected from our suppliers, and that is what appeared in the audit report. For example, documents collected from Omeme, which was almost 100 million shillings, and then documents collected from National Water, which was also close to almost 100 million shillings. Then there are also documents from suppliers, which came in late. But however, the entire process was followed as per the law. And on the issues of accountability, funds close to about 51 million shillings were unaccounted for funds advanced to individuals. And Honorable Chair, as we are talking now, those funds have been accounted for.
How do you do your accountability? Do you account for money after the expiry of the audits or financial year, or you account for money before the expiry of the financial year?
Mr. Chair, according to the PFMA, those advances are supposed to be retired within 1 month. But we still have challenges, especially when we tell people to account within the recommended statutory time period. But I think there were just documents to be collected, but otherwise the value for money accountability was done. Maybe the accountant and the principal hospital administrator will add on what I've said. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Otherwise, I wanted us to go systematically now. But this was a precursor. Yes.
For purpose of clarity, I would want to know when the accounting officer said documents from suppliers were brought in late. What do you mean by that?
Honorable Chair, through you, I think the nature of our suppliers, some are not within our reach, but the physical value for money was done. These items were supplied, but I think during the audit period, they wanted the complete documentation. If one item is missing, like the GRN, definitely they will say it is not accounted for. But I think my colleagues can also add to what I'm saying.
But then, how do you pay? How do you go ahead to pay when these documents are incomplete?
Mr. Chair, I don't think we pay with the total.
Fine. I think members, we now let's go more specifically now onto the matter, on the issues that's at hand. And I wanted us to go to page 5, and then we make reference to Appendix 1A, and then 1B, because that's where the magnitude of the challenges are. And then also we refer to this document, this one here, this file, which is we'll start with the page 1. This is the responses from the accounting officer. But there are some specific details that we should be able to look at, especially in Appendix 1 and Appendix 1A, Appendix 1B. I'd like to request the the clerk just to read for us the bullet 1 on the unaccounted for funds, and then we see the magnitude of the problem, and then we can go into the details afterwards.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Reading from page 5 of the report of the Auditor General. Basis for qualified opinion, unaccounted for funds. Expenditure amounting to Uganda shillings 583 million, representing 8.4% of the expenditure, remained unaccounted for by year end, as shown in Appendix 1A and B. Consequently, I was unable to confirm that the funds were utilized for intended purposes. Then I advised the accounting officer to ensure that the funds are properly accounted for, or else enforce recovery from the responsible officers. Thank you, Chair.
I think that is very clear. Let's look at Appendix 1, which is on page 17, Appendix 1A. So you can see now the officers who are involved in this. There is Laniero Agnes Patricia, Wadmon Benedicto, Bamas Henry, Omara, with the specific amounts of money that were advanced to them. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. The training fee plus allowances not accounted for, and one wonders if a training fee which has been paid out cannot be accounted for then. There are certain specifics. Honorable members, you refer to page 17, 18, 19, 20 in the appendix. The list goes up to about 455,546,268. So this is the monies that have not been accounted for. So, accounting officer, can you respond to this? I don't know whether we should handle it one by one. This is so long, because we are seeing names appearing more than once on the list. Okot Jackson, Simon Pension, Kelo Daniel, almost I don't know how many times. Achayo Agnes Lillian, almost I don't know how many times. Onyolo Stephen. You see, they get money and then they don't retire their advances in time. Can you please respond to this, accounting officer?
Honorable Chair, thank you. These monies were brought under various activities. One activity is when we received the supplementary funding for Nodding's disease, and the supplementary funding came actually in when the financial year was closing. The accountant will explain more on that. That means the activity was ongoing when they were doing during the audit period, and that's why these people had that individual advances. But however, these funds have been accounted for, Honorable Chair.
What did you do with that money of Nodding?
The money of Noddings was meant for outreach activities, social mobilization, and so on. And it came as a supplementary.
Don't worry about, we are just asking whether it is money. We are talking about money.
Yes, yes.
Whether it is supplementary or not. What did you do with the money of 71 million? Was that the total amount of money advanced to you?
Yes, that was the total money.
So what did you do with the money?
The money was advanced to individuals for their various activities.
Do you have a report on that?
Mr. Chair,
as we speak now, because I'm more concerned about this also.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Because we struggled to get this money from Parliament the other time, and it was not easy, the 1.3 billion. You remember, Honorable Loki, you are most welcome.
Mr. Chair, yes, we have that report.
Where is the report?
Mr. Chair, did we come with the report?
Is that a report of nodding, what you have done?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
So it only went to social mobilization?
Mr. Chair, the activities are many, including treatment of affected children and affected families. Yes.
How can someone read this report? Someone like me. I'm only seeing you signing and then getting the money.
Honorable Chair.
What was done? Where is it?
There is a comprehensive report.
Where is that comprehensive report?
I think. Honorable Chair, each person writes a report for activities done, and a few reports here which you can go through. Honorable Chair.
Where is the one comprehensive report for the 71 million Uganda shillings that was given to you? Accounting officer. You can't give me all these documents and you expect me to go through within this short time. Where is the comprehensive report for the advance of 71 million?
Honorable Chair, we didn't come with that.
Why didn't you come with it? And yet you have given it as an explanation here? This was your response.
Honorable Chair,
you knew you were coming before this committee?
Honorable Chair, the report is there.
Where
but
is the
we
report?
came with these individual reports. That means we need to come with.
But why do you come with individual reports and you leave the main report? Is it by design or what?
Honorable Chair, we are sorry for that. We shall submit it to clerk.
Yeah. Yes, Honorable James.
Honorable Chair, I get perturbed. You know, this nodding disease is mainly in northern Uganda, where people are suffering with poverty. So, accounting officer, maybe to echo what the chair said, why did you intentionally leave the main report? We brought the branches. If you found us here without the main person, the chair, do you think this committee would proceed? No, Chair, I will need to beg your guidance, otherwise if you didn't come and you knew you were coming, you would have brought a main and leave the small ones. I need also to look at the small things as well.
Chair, I would want to...
Honorable Chair.
Yes, Honorable Catherine.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe the accounting officer so it's not necessary to bring the main report to us, but now that he has come, it means that he's ready to answer all the queries. Now I wanted to know the breakdown of this, how much was used on which activity. And as an accounting officer, you know that you're supposed to give evidence. So we only want you to lay on table the breakdown of this money. Thank you.
You take note and then then you respond.
Chair, I would want the accounting officer to submit the individual activity reports, because even the comprehensive one is talking about is not there. So that we check if at all these people that were given the advances have done the work. Otherwise, it may be for purpose of accountability only. And the type of activity each of these people were supposed to go and do.
And then as you respond to the queries raised by James and then Catherine and Peter, I want you to break what is support supervision, because here I'm seeing support supervision of 9,583,000. What is it all about? And I can see only fuel and allowances and coordination done by Dr. Watmon Benedicto, consultant. What, I don't know this one here now. Ophthalmologist. Ophthalmologist. What is it? And where is this report? Huh? Doctor, yes. Organ officer.
Yes. Honorable Chair, I will respond to some, and then some will be responded to by the principal administrator and then the accountant. Yeah, Honorable Chair, there is breakdown. That is why there is payment against that breakdown. The breakdowns must be attached as part of the requisitions. Number two, the issue of the comprehensive report. Honorable Chair, we shall hand over the entire comprehensive report.
But is it there? What are you going to hand over? But if is it there?
The Honorable Chair, the report is there.
Where is it?
It's unfortunate, maybe we didn't. Well,
no, where is the report? You're saying it's there. Where is it?
The report is in Gulu.
In Gulu? Can you send somebody to send it today or tomorrow?
Yes, please. Honorable Chair, we can do that. On the mail. Okay, Honorable Chair.
What do you mean on mail? What do you mean on mail? We don't want to patch up. We don't want to patch up, get this one, then you fabricate something like a report, then you say it's still in whatever soft copy. By now the activity has been done, you should have actually bounded even the report, and then you say this is a comprehensive report for the money that has been ordered. Because we want to understand what you did with this money. This thing of support supervision, what is support supervision? Just going there to do what? And was it meant for that anyway? In the guidelines that was given by Parliament and the Minister of Health, that you go and do support supervision? Now, what we are going to require, honorable members, is that we want the guidelines that was given by the Minister of Health on the use of this 71 million, which was also approved in Parliament, because I remember the Minister presented in Parliament that we need this money to do A, B, C, and D, and it was divided accordingly. That guideline, the report, which should be in line with the guidelines given for the spending of the money. Yes.
This money, the 71, was the one not accounted for. May I know through you, from the accounting officer, Honorable Chair, what was the total amount which Gulu Regional Referral Hospital got? Because this was only the unaccounted for. Because, Honorable Chair, what you are raising is very pertinent. If you know how much was released and what was the work plan for that money, approved work plan, then we know. So may I know how much money was given to Gulu? Because this one was only unaccounted what? Unaccounted for.
Chair.
Just take note, accounting officers, honorable members are raising the issue.
Chair, in this file for activity reports, we have here meeting to conduct a coordination meeting with the DHO per the district. But when you go through, you will find no attendant list is attached to this, except payment voucher is attached for paying these people for attending the meeting. And and the receipts for sodas and the rest. These but the attendant list is not there. But the payment voucher for the payment is there. Now, who attended this meeting?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Honorable Oki. You are most welcome. First introduce yourself. You must welcome.
Thank you.
You look very fresh.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hey.
Mr. Chairman, maybe I want to introduce myself first. My name is Loki John Baptist, doctor if you like. I am a member of Parliament from Mashariko County in Moroto District, and I'm a member of this committee. Mr. Chairman, I wanted more clarification on the issue of support supervision and the report. There are two things that I want to raise. Support supervision, Mr. Chairman, must be clearly defined, because support supervision for me is not the ingredients of support supervision with me is not the same with another person. Maybe you could give us the content of support supervision. What does it entail? What am I expected to do if I'm going for support supervision? Because the money was released, and we want to know what did that person exactly do. Then the other one, usually after the end of each activity, you furnish a field day report. I went for support supervision. What did I do? What did I find out? And what are the recommendations based on the field findings? What were my findings which can guide management or program staff or even for policy? What are you guiding? What are you recommending? Because accountability is not complete without a report. If you are only giving receipts, that's not complete accountability. That is partial accountability. Accountability is complete when you provide both your receipts, how you spend the money, and then the report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Yes, accounting officer.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, so many issues were raised, especially on the issue of the guidelines. I think the guideline was there, how this money must be used and spent.
Do you have a copy of that?
I think we did not anticipate to come and get this question.
But you see, it is your response, accounting officer. You tried to break down the 583 million accordingly to how you have spent the money. Now you cannot even justify one single item now. You didn't carry any documentation to make sure it is justified. The 71 million. We're just on 71 million. Now you have not carried any documentation. Then how do you justify?
Honorable Chair, I think we shall get that comprehensive report and attach the guidelines to it. And then, Honorable Chair, the issue raised on by Honorable Oki on the issue of support supervision, and Honorable James, engineer raised
Senior cadre.
Honorable Chair, I hope I'm protected.
You are protected.
Thank you. On issues raised on about supervision, Honorable Chair, if you went through why this nodding disease was out, one of the report was to go into the village and collect information and identify these people who are affected and the children who are suffering from this. And then also to have visits to the treatment center, which actually is under dispute now. So this comprehensive...
Without you talking about the guidelines, yes. I've been in the middle of this conversation.
Yes.
And I can tell you that we move as a Chuli parliamentary group. I'm the chairman of Chuli parliamentary group. We move to the region. But where? And we brought it to Parliament that we needed this amount of money. Number one was the issue of opening of the closed centers of nodding syndromes. And partly that's why that money was released. To reopen the centers in Tumangu, the one in Ukidi, and then the one of Pade, Omoro, where the deputy speaker comes from. That was number one issue. The second issue was about the issue of feeding. So your case came because you are supposed to manage some of the referrals of these people. Now you are using this money to go there to go and do an assessment. Because you were supposed to manage these referral cases from other health units like Kitgum, Pader, Agago, if it's there, Aru, those areas, Omoro and Gulu. Cases that were not supposed to, that cannot be managed from those areas, were supposed to come to you and you manage them. It was not for you to go and do the assessment there. You are spending this money for your travel allowance, fuel, water accommodation, and then you are just distributing the money like that. It is, I have been in the middle of this, Doctor. So when you are talking about it, you know that some of us here were very much involved in first of all processing this money, and secondly also identifying the activities that were supposed to be done. And I have a guideline for that. So you go ahead.
Honorable Chair, indeed it's true we were supposed to manage some of these referrals, but we also found out that if you bring an affected child, you must transport with the entire family, and keeping them.
So how many children did you transport?
Honorable Chair, I was still explaining. Transporting them with the entire family was a bit difficult. So we would visit them in the Omoro, especially the Omoro site.
And those were referral cases?
Those were supposed to be referral cases.
So the letter for referrals were there, also there?
Yes.
Can we get those letters for referrals of the individual cases?
I think when we submit the comprehensive report, with the guideline which you want, we shall do that. That's why the physicians were now going to the site, the Omoro site, which actually was closed later. Yes.
So how many children did you handle who are referred to you? That one should be, who is the one in charge?
Honorable Chair, I don't have it offhand.
Who is in charge?
The one in charge is Lanyero, but we didn't come with her.
Why didn't you come with her? You know, there's an issue here on nodding that you responded to. Why didn't you come with her?
Honorable Chair, that was, I think, an oversight.
My friend, okay, go ahead. You respond to some of the queries raised by
Honorable Chair, I had already talked about the issue of supervision, and then there was the issue of total amount raised. I think let the
you have not talked about the issue of support supervision. I hope you are not skipping it. Raised by Honorable Loki. What is it? What can you really break down what it entails in your own? Yeah. You were together with him also somewhere.
Honorable Chair, I didn't want to. Honorable Chair, I'm also his voter and I stay in his constituency. But that is off record. Honorable Chair, on the issue, let me answer the issue of supervision. That supervision entails, the supervision can be support supervision or supportive supervision. What is the difference between supportive and support? Support supervision means you send less technical staff to go, maybe like we would say people who go and identify who might not be health workers. But supportive supervision means you send technical staff like the physicians, the pediatricians, whom we have been sending to the Omoro Center for that treatment. Indeed, I concur with that the report must be comprehensive in order to follow the accountability.
So what did you do in particular? Did you do supportive supervision or support supervision?
Honorable Chair, we did both.
Okay.
Because we have community linkages who identify these people and send them to the treatment centers. And then we also sent consultants, both from the university and from the hospital, to the treatment centers. Honorable Chair, on the amount released, I will ask accountant to...
No, still on that. Yes, Honorable Catherine, yes, go ahead.
Chair, on this support supervision, I want him to explain to us why the figures are too different and yet the details are the same. There is where you find 9 million, 11 million, 2 million, but one here can wonder what was taking place. So if you are explaining to us, tell us that the figure that took which place and why, and for the period of how many months or what, and who took the exercise.
Can you go into a little bit more details and tell us that, officer?
Honorable Chair, the jurisdiction of these support supervisions are very different. That's why the amounts are different. There are people who go up to Agago, others go a day and so on. They get higher amount. And then also it depends on the number of affected communities or affected families or affected children. But the people who go for support supervision in a closer area, they are given less money. Actually, the money is commensurate to the mileage area you cover and the number of persons affected. There is a comprehensive map out of how many children are affected or how many families are affected. Unfortunately, that's the thing we did not come up with. We did not come with. We should have come with that, so that we know exactly. We would have shown you exactly where are these people most affected and where the money goes to the most affected communities or parts of the Acholi sub-region. But I think the accountant can also explain some. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, thank you so much. What I know is that the amount that was released by Ministry of Finance for nodding disease was 110 million, and it was broken down. Part of it was meant for allowance, motor vehicle repair, and special meals. Then the other one I think was for the support supervision, which the accounting officer is trying to talk about. But the total amount that was released was actually 110 million.
110 million.
So 110, yeah.
For Gulu regional referral.
Yes, sir. No, I think at the time of the audit, I think they had already accounted for the balance. That is. Yeah.
Honorable Chair.
Yes, Honorable James.
Honorable Chair, what the hospital director told us is a lie. I want to refer you, hospital director and members, to page 13 of 17 of the document you gave us, because you said it depends on the number of people and the distance. Honorable Chair, I was a regional engineer for Alt Vision in Gulu. May I know, Honorable Chair, why Sanya Richard Boga on 14th was given 9.5 when he was going to Lamo, and why Watmon Benedicto was given the same money who was going to Pader, and why Lanyero Agnes, who was going to Kitugum, was given the same amount of money, and why Sanya Richard on 14th of June he was given that money. Before even accounting, they first gave him on 13th of June, Honorable Chair. Then 14th, that very Sanya was given for Lamo. I think there is a support supervision. Now Lamo has two. Chair, on 13th and 14th, it is Lamo, all of them. The same amount of money. So it means there's where they did double payment, but with the same activity. Yes, Honour Chair, when you see, and members, on 13th, Sanya was given 9.58. On 14th, that very Sanya was given 9.58. Still in Lamo for support supervision.
And even for Laniero on 13th
yes.
and on 14th.
Yes, on Laniero. And he said that the money depends on the number of people and the distance. May I know from the accounting officer, through you, Chair, whether Padel and Lamo, they have the same distance from Gulu? And the two.
Are you lost or what?
No, he's one. He's in the queue.
Come.
After Mzee, he's the one taking over. But he doesn't jump the queue. No. So, Honour Chair. No, he just defeats President.
Yes.
Honour Chair. You know, when you look at this, and how comes Kitugum and Pader, they have the same number of cases? So, Honour Chair, we need to further investigate this. To me, I see there is a syndicate. May I know from the accounting officer whether Lamo and Pader, they are the same distance, and whether they have the same number of cases? Because he said it depends on the distance and the number of cases. I rest my case, Chair.
Yeah, you see, now, accounting officer, there is a saying that crime is always smarter than the criminal. I think there's a legal saying that, there will be a trace. Now, what Honorable James is bringing is very clear, as you can see. The dates are the same release, Lamour, and there is no supportive supervision, by the way, according to the details here. You indicated there was supportive supervision and also support supervision. We're only seeing support supervision, not supportive supervision. And you said both. You are conducting both. Secondly, you go to your appendix of nodding activities. You will find, as Honorable James has said, Laniero Patricia, 14th, you release 9.5 to go to Kitco, or to go and carry activities there. On the 13th, again you release another 9.5 to Laniero Patricia. You started on the 13th June, then immediately the next day you release another 9.5 million to go and conduct the same activity. I don't know how you are doing it. Similarly, these orientation workshops, maybe you need to tell whether that is the supportive thing or is what. We don't know what it is. There is the support supervision of Laniero Patricia again on the 6th, which is about 2.5, and we don't know where that support supervision was given. It's not indicated in your details. Orientation workshop in Kitgum, in Omoro, in Kitgum, Bade, so many. Can you please explain to us, in Omoro, can you explain these anomalies? Because we are not, it seems it's not matching, my brother.
Honorable Chair, thank you. One is, I think, the narration. The account staff are here. I don't know why they put the same narration. They should have maybe it was easier to just say support supervision. But that is the narration which appears on the voucher. But otherwise, when you see people like Laniero Agnes, Sanyabuga, these are physiotherapists. And we expect them, when they go for such, they actually go for both the treatment aspect and they also go and mobilize. Is that okay? Mr. Chair, I would want also to bring to your attention that there is a committee for Nodding's disease. And all these items are done by the committee for Nodding's disease in the hospital. They are the ones who plan this budget. Our work is to fund the budget.
I beg your indulgence, Chair.
Honorable James.
Honourable Chair, the accounting officer is just wasting our time. I want to propose, if members buy, that whatever the accounting officer has tried to put here is really almost forged. So, Chair, I remember I raised the issue of nodding disease. I told the government, why are you mistreating the people of northern Uganda? I remember the deputy speaker even had to adjourn the house.
Absolutely.
Because his voters are dying and people are taking just money to pay some of these Bantu people around here. So, Honourable Chair, this issue of nodding disease is very critical. And as members of parliament who cross the Nile, we are part of this. So I want to propose, members, that one, this money, the 71, it is referred to police. And if our police also did that, Honourable Chair, we shall call Nakalema. I just call on phone because this is not disease, Honourable members. This is money, it seems people are just eating and sharing. If that's not the case, Honourable Chair, I would beg your indulgence. Maybe we give the accounting officer one further chance that he comes with these people he's mentioning. You may know that Lanyero did not even pick any money, they just use her name. Chair, you can find that it was air supply. Honourable Chair, this is the issue of nodding this as a chair, but also as someone who is coming and the chair of a Choli parliamentary group. You have to take it very serious. I rest my case. Otherwise, the way we are dealing with the accounting officer, I'm not contented as a person who was involved in the corruption track just last month, Honourable Chair. That's my request.
Thank you, Honourable James.
Honourable Chair.
Honourable Catherine.
What I'm saying is that we are engaging ourselves in more of storytelling than giving evidences. And the accounting officer said that they expected such officers to have done something. But I wanted to inform the officer that expectations and actions are different. So if we keep with these people telling us stories without evidences, and I wonder how one could come from Gulu to Kampala to tell lies. Honourable Chair, I don't know whether we shall continue like this, and if we want to earn something or gain something from this, I don't know whether we can keep rotating around these lies.
Certainly, Honourable Catherine, Honourable James, we will take this matter very seriously. Yeah. And we wanted just to give him the opportunity to explain certain things so that the members can get to understand. But let's first listen to members. You noted we listened to Jimmy, and then to Jim Orod, then Ismail Orod, yes. Ismail, and then Peter.
Thank you, Chair. You remember we toured the affected areas of this nodding disease, and we saw these people in a very terrible situation with the little hope of life. However, when we returned to Kampala, we raised the issue in the floor of Parliament, and we compelled the government to produce money, not to release, to produce, because it was searched in a hard way, involving cutting some other votes and so forth, because of the urgency of the matter. Now, if the people whom we created an activity for decided not to do the activity, then this is unfortunate for our country.
because the purpose was that we needed good results anyway. So, Chair, I think the accounting officer should be very clear and explain and get clear evidence on this matter, or else these days there is nobody who is friendly to corruption. Mr. Chair, this is not the first time people fail to give clear accountability on the issue of the situations like this. But eventually, even when the investigations are started, they end up disappearing, which becomes unfortunate to the taxpayer. So I would like to rest my case by appealing or praying that the accounting officers, staff and so forth there should really be very clear and give proper results for this nodding disease. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ismail.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to put forward just only one question. Amongst the activities that were supposed to be conducted was holding coordination meetings. In this file that has been forwarded to you, Chairperson, I have seen here a coordination meeting without attendance list, but with the payment vouchers attached. Now, I wonder whether this is for the purpose of accountability or the reporting of the meeting, because you can see here the payment voucher attached as a Gulu Regional Referral Hospital nodding syndrome committee payment slip, not the attendance list. And then you come with a receipt for fuel from Dawn Uganda Limited. Now, when you go again, you will find as an accountability meeting on the 1st of, this is March 2019. This is an accountability meeting, not coordination meeting. And then a receipt of 24,000 has been attached. This is for pork and now you can imagine. It is here written pork. It is here, sincere.
I don't know whether you are supplying pork to the nodding.
So, accounting officer, I don't know what it is. This is your own file, and you are the one who forwarded it to us. It is here.
Honour Chair.
Maybe you can proceed
Honour Chair.
what I'm talking about.
Honour Chair.
Yes, please, Honourable James.
I raised an issue which needed your ruling.
Yeah, we are going to definitely.
Because, Chair, we are in pain when our own people.
Absolutely.
I remember I went to Gulu personally with Honourable Macho and Imbuga. We were together. And there is just laxity. People are just eating money, eating pork. People are just eating pork instead of giving people treatment. Honour Chair, I need your guidance, otherwise I may just walk out of this meeting. If you are part of them, then I just walk out.
Honourable James, we will handle this in the best interest of the country and of the children that we all fight
to conclude, I want you to finally give a chance to the accounting officer to explain in particular this file which he has forwarded to you. Because this is just a sample of what is written in the file, and you have seen it for yourself. Let's give him a chance so that he can explain.
Accounting officer, with all these anomalies, we are going to give you an opportunity to explain yourself, and then we rule on this matter.
Honorable Chair, I think all the team here will have to answer. Is that okay? One.
And by the way, you need to be very, very sincere.
Yes.
Otherwise, we are going to lose our patience, because you seem to think that this is a very mild case, which can be, you try to say supporting supervision, support supervision. We have not seen any supportive supervision in this document. We're only seeing supportive supervision and then orientation workshops. I think they're different. So go ahead.
Honorable Chair, that's why I said all these people here will answer.
Not all these people. You specify who is the one who took the 71 billion, who is the one in charge, and who distributed this money, and who ate this money.
One, the accountants will answer the narration, why they do not include either supportive or support supervision.
Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Florence, you introduce yourself, and then we...
My name is Florence.
You're most welcome, Honorable, Right Honorable. Up this side.
My name is Florence Namayanja. I'm a member of Parliament representing Bukoto East constituency and a member of this committee. Mr. Chairman, this committee is an accountability committee, and what I want us to note and take us very serious, the Accountant General appoints an accounting officer, and the accounting officer is accountable for all the public funds. He's also accountable if these public funds are mismanaged. The accounting officer is accountable and must account. So the accounting officer cannot come here to say that the accountants took the money. He must account.
Thank you. It's by law. You are the accounting officer, and therefore the sole responsibility of the money given to Gulu Regional Referral Hospital is on you. So you cannot run away from that, as Honorable Florence has said. But let me take this opportunity to welcome Mama Betty Aol, who is the leader of the opposition. You are most welcome. We are conducting a committee meeting of PAC, and we are looking at the Auditor General queries of 2017-2018 of Gulu Regional Referral Hospital. We have just started because, you know, there are very contentious issues. What we are handling now is that we have had a situation where 536 million Uganda shillings, which was given to Gulu Regional Referral Hospital, was not accounted for. When our Auditor General staff went there, they were not able to get accountability in place. The vouchers were missing, and some of the accounting documents were missing. So the report came that the 500, and let me just get the figure, 583,965,423 money was not accounted for properly. So in their response, they were trying to break down according to how the money was actually spent. And we were just on one item, which is item number 1. They indicated that they spent 71 million on the issues of nodding. So we were trying to scrutinize and see the details of the expenditure. And you just found the submission of Honorable Florence saying that, you know, he should be the one responsible squarely on that money. We look at the documents, they are not really balancing. You can have a look at it, and then you also give your opinion. Otherwise, you are most welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, all, and Happy New Year. To my people from Gulu Regional Referral Hospital, I think you are here in the right place. I just would like to first make general, then it is up to this committee to go and see those audit queries. Generally, Gulu Regional Referral Hospital is in a deplorable condition. I was on Sunday in Gulu Regional Referral Hospital. It's a hospital which is not helping the voters at all. When voters complain, and then you go there on spot check, then you get to know what it means in being Gulu Regional Referral Hospital. If you don't have relatives, you go there to die, not to be helped. We had a big issue on the mortuary, which I think was eventually corrected. If we have funding which goes to Gulu Regional Referral Hospital and it's not helping the people, then it is very unfortunate. They will have to account for here. When it comes to nodding syndrome, our people, our young people are just condemned in the community to die. And people are not ashamed to pocket such fund for very vulnerable people, really, really vulnerable. People are not ashamed. So it is up to the committee to see that you get into the nitty-gritty. Gulu Regional Referral Hospital receive funding, public funding, but I think the section which works is the private section. Should we scrap this private section so that we get to know whether a facility, a government facility, is functional or not? It is the private section which is operational and working, but of course the private section, you go with a lot of money, and so we are not helping the vulnerable people, yet we are supposed to serve our people, serve the vulnerable people. Dr. James Elima, this is mainly on you, because you have to supervise your people. You find staff moving with maybe sometime medicine in their pockets or some other things that they have to use on people. You think they are going to give you free. You have to buy. And when I went to that emergency, there was only one staff in emergency. Can that be of help? And yet there was an accident person brought with a broken leg. Then I said, now what do you do with this? That I'm not calling doctor to come, because this has to go to Lacho Hospital. We don't have anything to help. Not even something to just reduce the pain. Actually, they don't, at that time I went, not even Panadols, not even plaster in the emergency unit. So you even wonder why you should go to such a facility. And so the people of that accident started struggling to see how to take this patient to Lacho Hospital. We refer our people to private clinics and to Lacho Hospital, yet we have a regional referral hospital. If the problem is us, the parliament not allocating enough resources, then it should be properly articulated here. But if resources are sent and not properly accounted for, and yet people suffer, then you stand responsible. I try my best to also, and yet you see that every time people have to call, please help me, this they are not doing anything. So if you help us politicians, then we will not be on your neck. But if you don't help us and we leave the hospital in that condition, and yet we hear funding is just being mishandled, a lot of us are going to be properly, can I say, blamed, abused for nodding syndrome. Although that's not a very big problem in Gulu, But Gulu being a regional referral hospital, I'm sure if you receive funding for nodding syndrome, then you must know that we are all on fire. We are going to be on fire by the public, by also government, where we have some the funding. So you are here to account for every single cent. Worst of all, if it is for conditions like nodding syndrome, we suffer too much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Mama. Thank you.
Honorable, for this opportunity. My prayer was that if there were some other members of parliament from Acholi sub-region who would be here up to the end, because right now I have to go before budget committee.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You are next official, and you can come to.
But these people are here.
You can still go and come back, Honorable Love.
Yes, I will come back. But these people are here, but they are not people who are on the ground. It is always good to get people who are on the ground. Who people, I think Doctor would remember how we were, brought by the masses and said, please, please, please. So when it is about the response by the people, it is not these people, it is not these members of parliament, it is those of us who are there on the ground.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I want to Catherine.
Yes, I want to.
Frederick, before, then Catherine. Let's go to the specifics and then we look at this.
Thank you very much, Lob. I appreciate the concerns you've raised, and specifically the issue relating to nodding syndrome. I remember, Chair, when this matter of nodding syndrome came to the House, having been raised by the members of Parliament from the Northern region, I was privileged to be one of those that were identified to go on a fact-finding mission. We went to Gulu, we went to Pader, and we went to almost Kitgum. Really, the situation was so bad and it needed quick response. And that is why when we came back, we had to push for this supplementary and push it so hard until those resources came. So my only prayer will be, as the law has said, the responses that the community will demand may not come from all of us, but will come from the immediate members of parliament within that vicinity. Absorption of such resources should be key to salvaging the situation that is being felt on the ground. And that is how we can help our colleagues, and you can also be of help to them. We struggle here. We all appreciated as a parliament that there was need for these resources to move and be given to this community, because there was dire need for such funds that side. Help us and manage that situation in relation to the funds that came, and maybe should there be any need for more funds, we will always collectively come out and give and support. But of course, the accountability part of it is very key. Look, that is just additional that I wanted to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Honorable Catherine, then we wind up on this.
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank the leader of opposition for the information she has given, and thank you for the concern of your people. In her communication, she brought in some point that people in Gulu have reached to the extent of carrying medicine in their pockets. Now I wanted to know which kind of people. Are these patients or staff? Now when we go for nodding disease syndrome, too much money is being used to the extent that you are seeing this, your accounting officers are failing to account for such. And I remember when this was brought on the floor of Parliament, we all shed tears. And the moment it comes, you see ladies crying for such disease. But now your people have started swindling money. Now I wanted to ask you, what is the current situation now? Because I know it will come back again. Thank you.
I think the issue now, honorable members, with all the respect we give to our LOB, I thought the LOB would come and then also be part of this process, because we are just looking at very specific issues. Yeah, we have very specific issues, and I want us to narrow down ourselves on this issue of accountability. Yeah. So on the issue of the
the situation and what will come later, but on the money, I want the ruling.
Absolutely.
Now.
Absolutely. So 71 million. We give an opportunity to you to respond with all the concerns that have been raised by members. Are you competent enough to respond to this, or you are not competent?
Honorable Chair.
Then who should be competent if you are not?
Honorable Chair, let me respond. And then my other colleagues will add, because these institutions are run as a team.
Go ahead.
Honorable Chair, I want to recognize the presence of the Leader of Opposition, Honorable Betty. Actually, Honorable Betty calls me, I would say, very frequently on the issues of the hospital. Yes, I want to bring a few issues that since November, National Medical Stores has not delivered any single cycle of medicine.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Order, Chair.
Accounting Officer.
Order, Chair.
We are not talking about the issue of medical stores.
Order, Chair.
Members have raised concern about the 71 million and the anomalies, and we have given you the opportunity to respond to that.
Mr. Chairman, it is an audit query.
Yeah, you want to thank the Leader of Opposition, you want to what? You want to go to medical store? No. We are giving you the opportunity to respond. We don't want you to go out and say, no, we have been treating you very harshly. We rule because they don't listen to you. So we want to listen to you. Respond specifically to the issues raised. The anomalies in terms of this treatment of the accounts, support supervision being done twice or 3 times, money being advanced to one location 3 or 4 times in different days, and yet for similar activities. And all this. So I think let us narrow down ourselves to this. And with evidence.
Honorable Chair, I made something. Honorable Chair.
Honorable James.
Sorry. Honorable Chair, I borrowed a procedure which you need to rule. The officer is just telling us what? I recommended that this thing goes for forensic audit. Honorable Chair, with the nodding disease, I don't know why we are handling it with the soft hands. Madam Lop, you are also here, and you bring issues of drugs. That one can be handled later.
Absolutely.
Then you can go on record, we call media that we have been failed. So, Honour Chair, I propose that this matter be taken to police and expedite. Because this is a serious matter of nodding disease. Very soon they will attack my president when he's going for campaigns. Yes, we will. Honour Chair, please, this is not a serious, this is not a joking issue.
We will come.
We should not go into drugs again.
Chair.
Yes, Honourable Florence.
Chair, let me say one thing, then I leave.
No, Honourable Florence, then I come
Chair.
to you finally. Yeah, sure.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. When we are dealing with accountabilities, we want the accounting officer to account. The figures that are being queried are specific, and the explanation to be given by the accounting officer is what we are waiting for, because this money has been shown in the books of accounts and queries have arisen. So what we are waiting for is the accounting officer to respond in relation to the figures.
Thank you.
Chair, as I leave, I just would like to say here we address specifically figures and accountability. For me, I raise issues to do with service delivery, which eventually fits into the accountability. So I raised a very general issue, which I think the right place should have been, is it committee of
No, we also take care of, because you see, there's also service accountability.
Yes.
Because the money released should be commensurate with the service provided.
Yeah.
So the two are actually connected.
All right.
The two are connected.
So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
If I get time, I'll be back.
Thank you.
Right now, let me go.
Thank you, Honorable Law. Thank you, Right Honorable Law. Thank you so much. We will also update you on. Yeah, there is some tea for you also here. If you don't mind, you can take some cup of tea. This is not a very poor committee. That you.
I know this is a very rich committee. If it was about MRM, I would not even take a glass of water here. But it is about public resources.
Yes.
And it is government. And when it is government, it is Uganda and Ugandans, regardless of their party.
Thank you, Right Honorable Law.
Or even gender.
Thank you.
Don't segregate. Stop it. It is not your resources, it is Ugandan's resources.
Thank you. Yeah, we give 1 minute to the accounting officer to respond so that we see what we. Yeah, accounting officer. Thank you, Right Honorable Law.
Honorable Chair, so many issues were raised. I wanted to interconnect them, but let me go straight.
Can we give him the opportunity? Just 1 minute. Catherine, want to see our? Okay, Catherine, you can. Honorable Catherine, you can see the law off. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
Honorable Chair, so many issues were raised, and I think let me respond to the 71 million shillings. This money came towards the end of the financial year, and the people you see here are committee members. The money was advanced to them, and I have no objection if they are called to explain personally about it, as the Honorable Engineer has said. I have no problem to that. And then number two, Honorable Chair, I said my colleagues will help me to explain some of the issues, especially the accountant and then the principal hospital administrator, because these approvals are done by 3 people. Approval is not done only by me. So I would hand over to the accountant to explain some of those narrations.
Yes, accountant?
Yes, then the principal hospital administrator.
Honorable Chair.
Just 1 minute before we.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable James.
Honorable Chair, I beg your indulgence.
Honorable James.
Honorable Chair,
we are taking care of your submission.
Honorable Chair, I beg your indulgence.
Honorable James.
I beg your indulgence.
Honorable James, just 1 minute. We are taking care of your submission, but let us give the opportunity to the witnesses to say what they want to say, because this is the. We should be fair in this committee to everyone who has appeared here. So let's give them the opportunity. Let's give them accountant the opportunity. Then we come back to you. Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. When this money was released to Gulu Hospital, the responsible officers were asked actually to make a requisition to go and execute. Were asked, yes, were asked to make a requisition so that they go and expedite the activities on the money that was released. So the issue
against
is
a work plan.
Against the work plan, yes.
Plan.
So the issue is not actually on the narration, but the activities which were supposed to be carried out as per the money that was released for nodding disease. And he has the accounting officers just said that there are officers or committees who are responsible to carry out these activities, and these are the very people whom this money was actually advanced.
So why do you release money twice to a particular place but different dates?
To me, I
the
think
13th you release money, the 14th you release money to the same venue, same place, but different people.
To me, I think that was an oversight, but I don't think money was released twice to the same person.
No. We are seeing it here. We are not getting it from anywhere else. We are not getting it from anywhere else. We are getting it from what your submission is.
I think that one now needs to be we need to, the officers who receive the money, and actually they should be able to account and tell us what they did with the money. Because for us, we look at the requisitions, which is fully approved, and then we make the payments.
Chair.
Honorable Fred.
Thank you very much, Chair. I want to believe that these resources were released against a work plan that was approved. And you are even talking of committees. So it means there was a detailed planning as to how we would attack the monster that was disturbing at the time. Now, money has been released twice. We are calling, you're asking us to call the people who received the money. Well, that is equally good. But can I find out from the accounting officer, was this work satisfactorily done to your approval or to your comfort? Because calling the people is one thing, but can you also tell us that the money you released, you expended out, met the minimum requirements, and those people comfortably accounted? Because it's accountability we are after.
Honorable Chair, through you, yes, these activities were done. I tried to explain it that this money came at the closure of financial year, and this money we didn't want to send it back. We gave it for the nodding disease activity, and the activity continued up to the current financial year, where nodding disease money was not even appropriated by Parliament. So, Mr. Chair, through you, yes, this thing, the activity was done. And actually, you are not hearing about it so much on the press now. The activity was done. That's the fact.
Honorable Chen, and then Honorable Catherine. I think we need to rule on this matter.
Chair, I want to inquire from the accountant. The way the accounting system is designed tells us that if somebody has been given an advance and he or she has not accounted for, no more advance should be given to he or she before he or she accounts for the other money. I don't know on which law you were basing on to keep advancing money. Is it because the money, the voucher has been approved, the requisition has been approved, and when you are the chief advisor to the director, you are the chief advisor financially. If somebody has not accounted for this money, why should we again go ahead and advance money to he or she?
Honorable, I think the issue here was that that money was released towards the end of the financial year. And by the close, actually maybe by 30th of June, all that money would have gone back to finance.
Then why did you take it back? Why didn't you take it back?
But the issue, the money was released to carry out the activity.
The money was released, but the policy of the government is supposed to be followed. Chair, you can't just say, you know, the money was released, therefore we just need to spend it because it's supposed to go back to the treasury. Chair. And yet the policy says money that is unspent by the close of financial year has to be taken back to the consolidated fund. Why didn't you take it back to the consolidated fund?
Honorable Chair, the issue...
Are you justifying why you use the money just recklessly? Because it was released at the end of the year, financial year.
Chair, by that mere statement alone, implies that all these documents which have been brought to us are just used for accountability. Otherwise, practically, there is no substance in this document.
Mr. Chairman, there's something I want to understand, to be educated on. On the accountabilities, for example, there is money that was given to Raniero Agnes Patricia on the 14th of June. She was given 9.58 million. On the 13th of June, that was on 14th of June. On the 13th of June, she was given 9.58, the same amount, the following day, I think. And then, on the 13th of June,
the same day. On the 6th of June was given 2.6 million. And this money, somewhere it says it is for workshop, then support supervision. Is this money meant for supervision, for treatment, for...
I think precisely, Honorable Florence, that's what we were, I said, handling. These dates are skewed, they are not matching. On the same 13th of June that you are talking about, Abela Peter received 2 million to go to Kitgum. The same thing that Laniero, the same date also Laniero received 9.5 to go to Kitgum for the same activity, almost if not the same activity. And so these are issues we are grappling with. And on the 14th, the same thing. They got about 9.5. So we are just saying that this presentation is skewed. And for that matter, honorable members, you will allow me to say that we refer this matter to the CID for further investigation. Because we can't just comprehend this. We can't comprehend this. How do you make a presentation like this, which is, you know, and then you think we are going to be satisfied as a committee? So we are referring the accounting officer to the CID for this matter, and the second appearance. Your second appearance, you must make sure you bring all these people. So will you please go and record a statement to the police? And with this submission, honorable members, I want to adjourn this meeting until tomorrow, and we wait for the reappearance of Gulu Regional Referral Hospital to come back to this committee for further, handling, because we still have other issues, other audit issues to handle. I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. I'd like to meet all the members, just members of Parliament. As our visitors go, and then we will re-invite you to come back. When you go and study your accounts, 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 go and study your accounts.